Some sad news out of Louisville. Junior Bridgeman has passed away. His actual name was Ulysses Bridgeman, but he was called Junior Bridgeman. Played 12 years in the NBA, most notably for the Milwaukee Bucks. Never made more than $300,000 a year as a player, but once he retired, went into business. And he, of course, became a franchisee for Wendy's and some other businesses, and then he became a Coca-Cola bottler, owner of an aluminum company. Last year, purchased a 10% equity stake in the Milwaukee Bucks, where they, of course, retired his jersey. He, of course, also played basketball at the University of Louisville. Today, Junior Bridgeman was speaking on a panel in Louisville when all of a sudden he clutched his chest and said, "I believe I'm having a heart attack." Folks jumped on the stage to assist him. He was taken to the hospital where he later passed away. He was 71 years old. I had the opportunity in Houston at the NBA All-Star Game to moderate a panel with so many different, with former players talking about what was needed to, of course, help athletes save and invest their money and go into business. This was a man who many athletes looked up to. Charles Barkley said the greatest success story in NBA history. Recently, I mean, like literally a month ago, if y'all have it, please show it. He was on the cover of Forbes magazine, listed as America's newest billionaire. But Junior Bridgeman is now dead at the age of 71, survived by his wife Doris, their children Eden, Justin, Ryan, as well. Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, released this statement. "I am devastated to learn of the sudden passing of Junior Bridgeman. Junior was the ultimate entrepreneur who built on his impactful 12-year NBA playing career by becoming a highly respected and successful business leader. He served as a mentor to generations of NBA players and athletes across sports who were eager to learn from him about what it takes to thrive in the business world. Junior was a dedicated member of the NBA family for 50 years, most recently as a minority owner of the Milwaukee Bucks, an investor in NBA Africa, and as a player who set the standard for representing the league and our game with class and dignity. We express our heartfelt condolences to Junior's wife, Doris, their children, Eaton, Justin, and Ryan, the Bucks organization, and his many friends and admirers in the basketball community." Again, somebody who was, unbelievable player who, of course, led Louisville, was an All-American at Louisville, led them to the Final Four in 1975, was the 8th pick for the Los Angeles Lakers. In the 1975 draft, was traded to Milwaukee as part of the blockbuster trade that sent Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from Milwaukee to Los Angeles. He averaged 13.6 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 2.4 assists in 25 minutes per game over his career, where he established himself as one of the best 6 men in the NBA. He also served as president of the National Basketball Players Association from 1985 to 1988. And again, what's amazing, Mustafa, I'll start with you. He made a combined $2.95 million in his playing career, never more than $300,000, and later became a billionaire. Certainly tragic news out of Louisville with the passing today of Junior Bridgeman.
Yeah, well, rest in power to Brother Bridgman. You know, when I think about him, I think about a green print. A lot of people talk about the blueprint, what do you need to follow? I talk about a green print because he was an individual who was a solid basketball player, yes, but he had a plan. And, you know, you can take a look at how he moved and emulate some of that. So whether you are a young athlete, you know, about to, whether you're making money on the college level now that you can, or becoming a pro, you need these types of individuals to be able to help you to understand what a North Star actually looks like. And not only, was he a great businessman, but he was also a great philanthropist as well. So, it's great to make a lot of money, but the question then becomes, what do you do with it? And how do you make sure that you're giving back? So, and all that I've learned about him, he was able to do all of the things that are necessary to be able to say that I lived a life well done.
Larry, he was like myself, you and Mustafa, a proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, at one point owning 450 restaurants. Later, of course, bought Ebony Magazine out of bankruptcy, as I said, invested in NBA Africa, and he was worth an estimated $1.4 billion at his death.
So, Junior Bridgeman, I remember playing, obviously playing for the Bucks. I'm a big, Philadelphia 76ers fan. So remember him and Sidney Moncrief, Paul Pressey, and those guys going against my Sixers often in the playoffs. So, that's what initially remember him as a child. And then growing up, continue to read the stories in various, periodicals, newspapers about him being a successful, businessman. And I think it's particularly important to see a black man of his, his stature is provide athletes with an example, a template in terms of what you can do with your wealth, not only in terms, like you said, in terms of his philanthropic work, but also his, hiring, having these numerous businesses and hiring black people and giving back to the community. But seeing him on the cover of the magazine, you don't see that very often. And particularly, like I said, athletes that have, back in the day, they didn't make as much money as you highlighted, investing that money and being, in many respects, self-made. So, and it is obviously as an alpha man as he enters Omega chapter, I wish all the best to his family during this very difficult time. It is a loss for the nation, certainly a loss for him, people from Louisville, Milwaukee community, and also a loss for Alpha Phi Alpha.
Randy, he was 6'5" ball player, but was a gentle giant. You met him. He wasn't brash. He wasn't loud. Wasn't outgoing. Was rather quiet. Easygoing smile. I last saw him at InvestFest in Atlanta a couple of years ago, where we had an opportunity to sit down and chat, and later text message back and forth. But he was really, really focused on trying to help NBA players and other athletes to really deal with their money. I remember a conversation we had in Houston at the All-Star game there. I was on the campus of the University of Houston, where there was a Rolls-Royce dealership, and an athlete came in and bought a second one. And the owner called Junior, and he's like, "Hey, I'll sell it to him, but why does the dude need a second one?" And Junior literally called the brother up. It's like, "What are you doing? Why are you spending all of this money on cars?" And the guy was like, "Well, because I can." He said, "Yeah, but what happens when the money runs out?" He really was trying to really help a lot of these young brothers build generational wealth and not just blow through the millions they earn in the NBA.
I think that's so important because we always hear these, tragic stories about how people blow through their money. And yes, he was a businessman, and also he did it step by step. Started out with, I don't remember how many restaurants, but slowly built it. And I believe that's important too, because social media allows us just to see the results, and they don't allow us to see the hard work people put in prior to getting there on the cover of Forbes magazine. And what I especially loved about him is that he never lost his touch on the community. He was a brother who wanted to give back and wanted us to learn the lessons so we can do better and build up the community and build wealth. And so that's what I appreciate most about him, is that he just never lost touch and always tried to give back and to teach us. So, absolute honor. I never got to meet him, but it was an honor to even just be introduced to his great works, and blessings to everyone who did know him personally.
Indeed. Again, Junior Bridgeman is now an ancestor to the age of 71.